Hello everyone, I'm Mara Benitez, Library Assistant here at the Seguin Public Library, and this is our third video in our series of virtual technology classes with TLU and Dr. Shao and his students. So today we're going to be covering the topic of navigating job search, and we've got Dr. Shao here with his students that are going to tell us all about that.
Hello everybody, my name is Dr. Shao from Texas Lutheran University, and today I'm very pleased to be joined by my students, among the best students I have, and Fawcett as well as Brock here, and they're going to share with us all about how to go about finding jobs, especially looking for jobs online and many other things we need to pay attention to as we are looking for jobs. So I would like to welcome my students. The floor is yours. Go ahead and share with us your lesson.
Hey, hi guys, my name is Fasad and I'm a TLU student. And our lesson here is helping you guys navigate job search sites.
And my name is Brooke. I'm a senior at TLU, and I'll be participating with this presentation as well.
So let's get started. So the first question is, what are job search sites? Well, job search sites are an easy way to access a variety of applications. Not everyone has the opportunity to transport themselves to everywhere they want to work. So job search sites are an easy way to access a whole bunch of applications to where you want to work at. And a benefit is you can apply to multiple jobs without having to physically go there. It's very convenient. And also you have a chance of getting hired. Finding a safe site. Not every job search site is safe or reliable to use. So I'm going to give you guys a few tips of what to do when you want to make sure that the site you're using is safe. So when you're looking for a safe site, make sure that the URL of the site starts with HTTPS rather than HTTP without the S, because the S stands for secure, which means there is a secure sockets layer connection within that website, meaning that the website won't take any of your information and give it out to other people, or that other people can access the website and take your information. And then you want to ask yourself, does this site have accurate information regarding the company you are applying to? For example, let's say you're applying to a bank company, and on the website, instead of it to ask you questions regarding the bank, it's asking you about like what kind of car you drive, or if you're able to drive people to other places when it's a bank, not a Uber company, if that makes sense. So just make sure that it has accurate information regarding the company that you're applying to. If there's a lot of irrelevant random pop-outs, you just want to question that. Like when they have a whole bunch of diet, like, hey, you want to go on this diet or you want to model this, that's not reliable. That means that there's too many people going in and out of that site and can take your information, which you don't want to happen because you're putting a lot of sensitive information on job search sites. Now, here are a few reliable job search sites that people have been using. Number one is Indeed.com. That's the most common one, and it's very trustworthy to put your information into. There's Monster.com, ZipRecruiter.com, SimplyHire.com, and Snagjob.com. All five of these are reliable sites where you can find a job and get trustworthy information, and there's no scams because these companies, they make sure that the jobs are on there are real jobs.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Can we go back to the 2 slides up? Can you go back to 2 slides back? There we are. Yeah, you did mention very appropriately about the URL and that users should be looking for the S. So could you help out clarify to our community members what URL is so that they understand the acronym, what it stands for?
Okay, so a URL is the website address. So it's the link that you go to the actual website, like www.google.com. If you are going to the website, you want to make sure that the beginning of it starts with the HTTPS, because that means that the website address is secure itself, if that makes sense.
All right, thank you. The URL stands for Universal Resource Locator. Good, thanks. Go on.
Okay, so what do you do? I'm going to use Indeed.com as an example because it's like the most used job search site as to what you do when you get to the website. So first, you want to create an account and it's free. And of course, you need an email address and you need to make a password. You make an account because you want to keep track of all your information and so that the people, the companies can also send you an email out if they want to give you the job, of course, and to keep track of all your information. So when you get there, you want to type in the type of job you're looking for and the city. Now you're probably thinking, well, of course, that's obvious, but some people forget. And you want to do this because you don't want to apply to a job where you can't access. You don't want to get a job that's an hour away from you and you have no transportation or just not enough time to get there. You want to make sure that the job you're applying to is convenient for you. You can get there without any problems and is just location just matters. Location matters a lot, especially if you want to work in a very maybe the environment you want to work in is specific. You just want to make sure that you're putting in the right location and you're putting the right job also. You don't want to accidentally apply for a job you don't want. I'm gonna pass it on to Brooke. I'm done.
All right. So after you create the account and everything, then you start putting in, of course, the location and then what type of job you're looking for. So it is important to use keywords whenever searching for jobs. Within 25 miles if it's remote. Also, if the date of the job is new or if it's been 30 days since they posted the job. There is a lot of applicants on Indeed, so you want to make sure that it is there is enough time for them to be contacting you and also contacting other applicants. So for example, I put part-time if you're only looking for part-time jobs. And then of course, if you are just looking for like a restaurant job or just like a steady part-time job for, a college student or a high school student, it's very descriptive on Indeed. So if you already have previous work experience, you can always upload your resume or put in the keywords, you want to be a kennel tech or you want to be a business associate or something like that. Keywords help with narrowing down your search. And so you don't have to go through multiple pages of looking for the type of job that, fits your description. So when entering information, of course, you're going to put your name, your email, your phone number so they can contact you. And then also if you are able to upload a resume, this is very good. If you already have a resume already made up, you don't have to worry about making up a resume in Indeed. Or there's also an option for you to upload your own resume through an Indeed resume where other people can look through that from Indeed. A cover letter is basically just stating, your qualifications for the job and like your interest for it. My name is Brooke. I'm applying for this job because I have so requisites and skills that can be enforced for this job description. And then it's always important to upload your resume. There's many companies where they don't even look at your application if you aren't uploading a resume, because that's like one of the main components that they look for whenever they're looking for people. And then of course you just hit submit.
I have a question for Brock. Can we
Yes,
go
sir.
back to the last slide, please?
Mhm.
Yeah, you did mention about resume, and that's a very important item to have. So here's my thing. I know Indeed can help me create a resume if I don't have one. That's great. Or maybe I could use other sources. Could you share with us any other sources that could help us create a resume?
I unfortunately don't know of any sites, but I do know if you just search like resume templates, there is a lot of them on Google, and a lot of people who have used that as a reference, and simply all they do is just, delete the line and fill in their own line, or just use that template, to make sure that their jobs are aligned for the work experience, and that they're always putting the current job or the newest job that they had for themselves.
Thank you. How about you, Farsad? Any examples?
Also-
Yes, please.
I also know that if you use Google Docs or if you use Microsoft Word, that they also have resume templates. So those are also very good resources you can use to create a resume.
Thank you. Yeah, those are very good examples. We have a number of community members that really don't have that great connectivity online, where they can take advantage of those great software. Physically, if they want to go to an office somewhere, see somebody who can give them some guidance in how to create a resume. I can think quickly of a workforce. I think those workforce provides that one-on-one assistance for those who are seeking jobs and just seeking help with creating resumes. So Believe, I'm not sure how they work right now, maybe by appointment or so, I'm not sure, but I'm sure they are helping out folks around on how to create their resumes, because we have a number of members that don't have that connection online yet, or it's not that reliable as well.
Excellent. And I also just want to make a quick little plug for the library. We do provide some limited resources for resume building, as well as just general assistance navigating Word if somebody wants to edit a template, or even if they have one. I know we'll have a scenario sometimes where a patron will have a resume on paper, but they don't have it written out. So we also have the resources to scan that and save that and upload even just that paper resume.
Excellent. Great.
All right, so I just started out with, searching for jobs that were near my area, and I picked Stars and Stripes Driving. Just it's always important to make sure that you know what company you are applying for the job, just because there is a lot of job postings online that are, kind of sketchy. They don't have a lot of critiques for it, and of course, there is a lot of reviews on Indeed. It shows, like Stars and Stripes has 4.5 stars just because they aren't engaged on Indeed and they are trying to find team members available for that job. And then, Sonic and Smoothie King. And then always just make sure that you are aware that what location they're at, just because they aren't always, in your area, or they might be like 25 miles away. And then sometimes, of course, there is a lot of times whenever the company will do a full job description. So just letting you know what salary you're getting, what type of job they're looking for, how many hires they're trying to hire for this role, what the job really is as a description, if it works for you, if it's flexible with you. And then if it looks like it's a good fit for you, then you can go ahead and hit apply now.
I have a quick question. How do we know whenever we've either gotten the job or if the position's been filled? Are there ways that we can know that from the website?
There is, yes. In some cases, the companies will post that they already hit their max number of hires, or they will contact you directly, or sometimes they will take down just the job itself on Indeed and stuff like that. Where we start. You just hit apply now. If it looks like a job that you feel is in your fit, especially, team members, generally just someone that they're trying to add to the team, that can fit some roles, but isn't, generalized to like maybe curbside or like drive through or something like that. Just like a general team member who's still going to have a feel of everything and not be, stuck in one place at their establishment. So the first step for applying for this job, I just went through all the steps just so that made it easier for me to explain. The first step is just adding a resume for the employer. So you can either upload your own resume or do a resume that you made through Indeed. So that's what I had done. I had uploaded my resume, but then put in all my information through the resume for Indeed, so it was easier for them to read. And of course, it says it's recommended just because it's Indeed's resume and stuff like that. But it puts in all your information, it puts all your jobs, your email, your phone number, where you're located, and stuff like that, just so it's easier for the employer to see whenever they first look at your application. Step 2 for this job, they asked if you're available for any dates or times. Just for an interview, it is always important to make sure to let them know what time you are available, just because for some jobs they don't have regular work hours. So of course, Stars and Stripes being a drive-in, they open up late at night. So you want to make sure that you are aware of that and you aren't saying like, oh, I'm only available from 10 to 12 p.m. Just because, of course, you're not going to get that interview because they aren't open during those times. But always make sure to let them know and also check their hours to make sure you are lighting up with the availability. In some cases, employers will ask if you have any relevance to the job that you're applying for. In the beginning, it will ask you to pick a past job that you had that's maybe current or relevant to the job that you were applying for. So in this case, I had picked on my resume, I was already a team member at Stars and Stripes. So I picked that one because it was the closest I had to relevance for it. You can always pick and make sure it's just within the job titles, seeing what you do and what you might be doing for your new job. That's basically the relevance they're looking for.
Really quick, as a new searcher or a new kind of person that's not quite so familiar with computers, I see on these job websites there's all kinds of buttons and check boxes and drop downs. Could you tell me a little bit about the different kinds that you'll see on a navigating a job website and how you would access the different options from those lists and boxes?
Yeah, the design of Indeed, that's what I very much recommended. It's simple enough as to where even if you don't have a lot of computer experience, it's very heavily guided. So it'll guide you through the application so that you're not confused. And sometimes I know they might put like information, like if you're not sure what a question means, they might explain in detail, oh, this is what a resume is, or this is what a cover letter is, and how it can help you. And they also, I know they have on Indeed, they have not a course, but a like it shows you how to apply basically. Like it's like that videos will show you like this is what you should do and this is how you should like contact employers and such and such.
Excellent, thank you.
And then step 4, this is where you'll be attaching any supporting files for your application. So you can, of course, upload a cover letter if you already made one, or you can just write out a cover letter directly whenever you are applying for the job. And then you can always upload documents from your laptop or computer that can help support for this application. And then if you see at the bottom, they only accept PDF docs, JP, and PNG.
So taking a step back really quick, once again, as a new person accessing a job site, what does upload mean?
Upload is pulling a file that is on your computer and adding it onto a application. So of course, like a Word doc, you want to add that into as your supporting files and then upload it onto your application. Uploading is basically, just putting a file you already have on hand on your computer and then attaching that into something.
So as you can see, we are now going to go into how to actually attach files, which will answer your question. So when you want to attach a file, you want to click upload file. Then you want to search for the file you're looking for. Click the file, hit open, and the file will now be attached to the application. Now that might sound confusing, but it actually can be very simple. So for example, when you have a Word document, you have the ribbon. On top of the ribbon, you see something that says file. And there in the file, you see something that says share. And you will share that file onto your computer. So it's on your computer. So that when you upload the file, you're not searching for it. It's right there on your computer, downloaded. So the floor is now open to any questions anybody has regarding resume, cover letter, applications, employer, so on and so forth.
There's one point that I would like also to share with our community members. For example, probably you have heard of another platform called, um, I'm just going blank with that platform. What happened with this platform? Some people went into there, it's a very credible one, and they were looking for jobs. And as they were going through scanning those jobs, they found some interesting, positions from some companies, and they select that job. And then it asked them to start the application. So you think this is a trustworthy platform. And when they opened that application, it started asking them very easily for their name and then for their birth date. So that becomes a little bit suspicious. And also maybe for their social security number, right? And that had happened, I believe was last year. And some people did put that information in there, knowing that this is a credible site and they're willing to move on with the application. As soon as they click next to go to the next page, the whole thing disappeared. And then eventually, once you try to find out what happened, you find that, well, that was a bogus company. And they were just people fishing for your sensitive information, but they're using a very credible platform. So my point here is just to be very careful and worry about, yes, the platforms are very credible, but some people are taking advantage of these credible platforms, pretending they're opening, they have a company and they're seeking, some kind of help with a particular position, but really what they're doing is fishing out for some sensitive information from normal people just like me and you. So it's just one of the warning signs that it has happened before and was really big last year, I believe so. This year, I haven't heard about it, but it can happen to any other credible companies that are really there to channel people to looking for jobs and facilitating the whole process. But in that, there are some bad guys also taking advantage of anybody out there. So yeah, just a little warning about that.
Yeah. I mean, also, I just want to add into what Dr. Shaw said. Like, if an application is asking for, like I said, just like irrelevant information, like you don't really need to put your social security number into an application. So there's just some information I feel like if you just feel like that the information is not needed for the application rather than your cover letter, resume, name, email, number, then you probably should question not the site, but maybe the job application itself. Like if it's asking you for, like Dr. Shaw said, like your birth date, just be wary of it. Just be wary.
Absolutely. Maybe let me turn it back to Mara, since you work for the library, a great experience. And what are the common issues that when community members come to the library, and of course, one of the things they want or they're seeking for is looking for a job or finding jobs, so missing some technologies that could help them facilitate this process. What experiences have you had so far?
So primarily what we've had is people not knowing what to bring, not knowing how to navigate, like say like the check boxes, and because there are some, like Indeed, like you said, is very helpful with all of that, and what to click, what does this box mean, but some have even just had difficulty with actually marking the checkbox, or like there's this box here that has something written on it and it's a select one, but how do I select one? So kind of just really basic things like that, as well as how to get around the problem of having the paper document and scanning it, which that we help them with. But if they're at home, how would they go about doing that? That might be a good little place to kind of start talking about that.
What I would say regarding that is, wow. Okay, so what I would say regarding that is if you know like you're not very tech savvy, I know not everyone has the opportunity, but if you know someone like maybe a family member, like especially in these COVID times where you really shouldn't be talking, you're not able to go out to other people. If you know like any family members that do know how to work technology, ask them for their help. If you are in technology, YouTube is your best friend. YouTube and Google, they're your best friends. So maybe you can type into there, how do I select? Or especially YouTube videos that will give you a very detailed view of how to select. There's no shame in not knowing how to use technology. So they should be free to go to YouTube and Google and just say, okay, how do I work this website? How do I click this? How do I upload this?
Excellent. Probably another thing that has come from my experience is a lot more people have smartphones more than laptops or desktops, okay? And even demographically, I mean, if you look at that, we have a lot more people, young people, or even other community members happen to have more smartphones in their possessions than a computer, a desktop or laptop at home. But now, when you're looking for a job and you need to go through navigating the search and application online, a smartphone is not a very good tool to do that. It can facilitate a lot of things very easily, but using a smartphone to go through that kind of process is a little bit not as easy as easier as using a laptop or a desktop. And that's where I find if we have a computer at home, it could be a laptop or a desktop, that would be a good tool to use at that time for that reason. Or if not, then if I don't have any of those, then the library comes handy. There'll be a place for me to go to use the computers in the library, and with a little more guidance also from the librarians and how to do it. Or again, I did mention about the, I believe it's called Workforce. Yes,
I believe it's the Texas Workforce Solutions.
thank you. Yes, Texas Workforce. Absolutely. They've been very, very wonderful and helpful to a lot of people. Why not? So my biggest point here is, what device are you using when you decide to apply for these positions online? Probably a smartphone is not a very good choice. Unfortunately, a good portion of our population has more of these smartphones than the other devices that I would recommend to. But in case you don't have one, go to the library or go to Texas Workforce, or maybe find a family member who has those devices like a laptop or desktop in order to complete the process or the application that you need to do.
However, I do want to say I believe there are a few, like Indeed, that have an app built in for a smartphone. I'm not sure if it's compatible with all devices, but that's another option. Again, that gets tricky when it comes to things like a resume or a document you might need to upload, but it is an option for getting started.
I just want to put out there, I know that smartphones can't do all, but I know for like documents that you want to upload, I know that since like COVID, they've been trying to advance this. Like for school, I use this app called Genius Scan because I have an Android where you can actually upload a document to other sites. I know if you use Apple, they have something you can use in Notes to scan and upload a document. So those are just ways around if you don't have a computer, how you can still apply or upload documents.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I know for the Apple, there is a Files app on the iPhone that you can actually click on that and then hit scan documents, and it just scans the page that you've already printed out and uploads that as a PDF for you to attach maybe from your phone.
Thank you. Those are some excellent options.
I believe Microsoft do have another one. It's called Microsoft Lens. It's just one word, Microsoft Lens, and that is also can be used by both, I mean, many platforms. If you're using Apple, if you're using Android, and Microsoft Lens also does the same thing. You can scan your document easily. It's going to be on your computer, on your smartphone, and then you can attach or upload it as needed. So definitely there are a lot more apps out there to help out with this process. The reality is when we come to community members, a lot of community members, knowing these apps and using these apps, that's a whole different issue. Okay, whereas a lot of younger generation, they're very comfortable with this. They know this very well, and they're very comfortable even with their mobile devices. But on the other side, these community members, even navigating their smartphones, doing all this becomes an issue, and that's a real concern. But that's why we are offering these kind of sessions, to make sure we are catching up with them, to make sure we narrow this technology gap one day at a time, and make sure it makes a difference in their lives. So maybe I'll start with Brooke. Is if there's any one device that you would like to share with our community member about the topic you have presented today, what is that one advice?
The one advice would be to always include, whenever you're applying for an application, they often ask you if you went to high school or if you went to college and stuff like that. Always make sure to include if you did indeed go to high school, and also put in the years you went and also and graduated. And also, if you are going to college, make sure that you are putting in what major you are and what year you are anticipated to graduate, just because for a lot of jobs, that is the first thing they look for if you are a high school graduate, and then also how long you will be staying in the area at that university for them to have you as a team member.
Thank you. How about you, Fasad?
My one advice would be to know what you want. Just because if you don't know what you want, you're gonna have a hard time trying to not find a job but get a job, because you don't want to, even though that you can apply to many different jobs, you don't want to overwhelm yourself. So just know what you want when you are trying to apply, so that finding a job is easier. That's my advice. Just knowing what you want is a very big thing.
Great. Thank you so much, Karim. You have done a wonderful job. And also thank you to Mara and for the Seguin Library, for your partnership with TLU, and the opportunity for us to share our skills and knowledge and engage with our community members.
Well, thank you all for joining us, and to any community members that are watching this, I just want to remind you that we do still have registration up for our final sessions, so definitely check those out on our website and on our social media, and you can catch all of the recordings from these sessions on our library website at library.seguintexas.gov. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.